know?
You're just having to function to get through. Didn't your husband have some good advice for Allison?
Oh, he was so cute. Yeah, I told him we were going to do this MOMCAST thing, and he goes, all right, just tell her, go home, make your house as dirty as possible, and leave it that way until you have the baby, and then you'll know what it's like to have.
Welcome, everyone, to a very special MOMCAST. If you have been watching 12 News Today in AZ, you may have seen this.
Takes me to some news that I have to share with all of you, because I know yesterday we shared our great news that Emma is going to be here full time. Well, now we're going to add a little 12 News person to it.
I was wondering. Go on.
So go ahead, let's roll it. I want to share with you guys right now that my husband and I our first baby.
We're talking about baby names. Like what names you like.
I know. I have been dying for your reactions.
Oh my gosh.
I'm going to have a heart attack.
Right? What happened? It was like the firefighter story yesterday. You're like, oh, it's happening at 12 News.
You guys, I'm going to start my last trimester in a couple of weeks.
Wait,
You've got to be kidding.
Yeah, so about 6.5 months.
What?
It's really hard to keep together.
You kept the secret that long?
What? I can't lift things, Ginger. I'm going to carry you. But I mean, this is our first. We've been, you know, talking about it, and I've been sharing with you. I know, it's crazy. Ever.
Ginger Jeffries has finally recovered, so we could finally do this special episode of MOMCAST, where I got the ladies with me as we zoom out, my best girls that you see every single morning right here on 12 News Today in AZ. They're joining me for MOMCAST to talk to Allison just about questions that she might have. This is your first, and we've got Ginger has 2 kids who are out of the house. She's an empty nester now.
Yeah,
I've got
amazing.
4.
It's coming. Just know it's there.
I've got 4 kids. My oldest is 9. Youngest just turned 4 yesterday. And then your ages.
10 to almost 1 in a couple weeks.
10 to almost
Here.
1.
Oh, that's so sad.
So we've got a spread for
Yeah,
you
you
on a
really do.
lot of different experiences. And this is the thing that I think that's super important, is that regardless of what we're going to talk about, it is always just going to be up to you and what your baby needs. And people would give me so much advice. None of it really had legs. So we'll see how this goes. But welcome to MOMCAST. Allison, about to have a baby, like really about to. You did not tell us.
I'm going to lose it. I'm going to fall down again.
I'll lose it again.
When you say it.
She was 6.5 months along. This is going to
Wild.
be the shortest pregnancy on the planet for us.
For you guys, yeah. It's been a while for me.
You have been sick.
And can I say that was the hardest part, was I think getting through the first few months, because I was going through so much and there was no one I could, and hearing you guys sometimes, I would want to tell you so badly so I could ask you things and talk to you like, is this normal? Because I know you would make me feel better, because it was really hard. That first trimester was really hard, and it's not like that for everyone.
It's not like that for everyone, but
You
now
had a
is your
great time.
chance. I did have a great time. But now's your chance. So we're going to kick it off with your first question. What are some thoughts? What are you thinking? What would you like to know? Some unsolicited advice what we're going to be giving you.
I feel
Because
like
we're all the experts.
yeah.
My kids are, running for senator.
already, yeah. I feel like the number one question I have is what I already know. It's like, is it gonna hurt? And everyone's like, yes, of course it's gonna hurt. But I also hear that immediate, after seeing what your body has gone through for those 9+ months, seeing them come out then is like the most amazing feeling ever. Like, you guys talk about it all the time, and it makes me really excited for when that happens.
Something that was a little tricky for me is that when I had my first, everyone was like, oh, you're instantly going to fall in love. Oh. He was a little scary looking, and I almost had this guilt of like, oh, what? I'm not feeling that way. Because there's just a lot going on. There is, and there's a lot of emotions that are going crazy.
Hormones, your body is wild.
Hormones are wild. So it did take me a second to be like, and it also took me a while, I don't know if you guys felt this, to name my first.
Oh my goodness.
That has been yes, you asked me when we did the announcement if I had names, and we've been tossing some around, but it's hard. And you all had such great stories about that.
Well, I feel so many babies will convey their names. You know, I didn't know for my first if I was having a boy or a girl. And so everybody said I was having a boy, and lo and behold, out comes a girl. And she's just staring at me. And she didn't look like what I expected her to look like. So the names I kind of had picked out didn't fit. And literally just looking in her eyes, and she told me her name, Chloe. And this was before Chloe was cool and popular and whatnot. So I think you kind of have to get to know the little guy. And you're going to see what fits.
And I think that's smart. You come in with a name or go in with a list. But I did that with my first. I had a list. We didn't use any of them.
Interesting.
We didn't name him until 2 days later. It was my husband's grandma that came up with the name. Isn't that funny?
Really, I love that.
But it even still took me a while to call him like a gentleman's name because it was this tiny little, what looked like a scary alien.
Because it's so wrinkly.
And he was early, and so it was like loose skin. He looked like a grandpa.
Right.
I should have called him Benjamin for Benjamin Button.
That's the circle of life. We go out the way we came in, right?
Yeah, really.
That's so true. And what about for you, the names? Because you have 4. You had to pick 4.
For the first 3, we were set. We had our names. We were great. With number 4, we could not. I had friends helping. People were sending me lists.
Yeah.
And nothing stuck. It took us like 3 days to name her in the hospital.
Yeah.
And we finally came up with one. It was so cute. One day I was in the bathroom and our 7-year-old walked up to me and goes, "Mom, I have the best name. Can we name the baby Rose?" And I was like, "Huh." It was this sweetest moment. And I was like, well, I can't not name her Rose now. So we chose Emerson for her first name, and then we did Emerson Rose because I just thought it was so sweet that, so you never know. Maybe somebody will say something, trigger it. Maybe it'll take you a few days. Maybe you'll know right away.
See, but that's a story that you will share with Emmy for forever. And then I feel like they hold that as like some pride. It's like, oh yeah, I have a cool story about my name. You know what I mean?
But also
really
that her
sweet.
sister, you know, has to be part of that story.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's really cute.
Yeah, I love that. Something I did want to ask you, ladies, and I hope other women can relate to this, or anyone, like a dad, even becoming a dad. Is this such a big change for the first time in your life? I think sometimes I wonder, am I even going to know who I am after that? Because everyone says everything changes. It's so different. And I'm ready for that. But then I think, will I feel like myself? Will everything... Am I going to miss
remember
that?
who you were.
Okay.
Because your whole life adapts in such a good, positive way.
Yeah.
These are not bad things, but I think for me, I don't ever remember life without kids. Life before kids. I mean, what was that? And so it just...
What did I do?
Right. Like I always tell my daughter, she taught me to love, because the way I describe like how I felt about my kids is my heart was living on the outside of my body.
Don't go anywhere. The conversation continues right here on MOMCAST.
I don't ever remember life without kids. Life before kids. I mean, what was that? And so it just...
What did I do?
Right. Like I always tell my daughter, she taught me to love, because the way I describe like how I felt about my kids is my heart was living on the outside of my body. Because you talk about pain of childbirth. You want to know what pain is when they fly off to college. And you sit there. Oh, it was heartbreaking. It was heartbreaking. I still don't even like taking her to the airport. I'm not going to talk about it because I'm not going to cry.
Yeah.
But I mean, these are just...
I know. He's not even out yet, and I'm like, oh my God, he's going to go off to college one day.
It is.
I'm so sad.
It is. So there's all these different ebbs and flows to being a mom, and that's why I think it's really dynamic to have these kind of 3 generations of moms. But you know, when they become people, little people, and you get to know their personalities, they go from baby blob into their little personalities into little people who are going to, you know, tell you their opinions about things into, you know, grown humans. And then they leave. And it was
when you start to get along again, right?
Right. I mean, the one we didn't want to leave wouldn't, you know. I'm just kidding. But, you know, that the way that I raised my kids was to spread your wings. And so you're going, like I said, you're going to be going through all these different changes, but I don't remember life before kids.
I feel like before I had kids, I wasn't interested in kids. I wasn't thinking about that at all. I just was interested in work and hanging out with my husband. And I didn't even, like, it wasn't even a thought of like having children.
So none of your friends had kids at that point?
No, they did, but I was just like, Ma,
Can you leave
for
it
them?
busy.
Like,
Yeah, that's for them. And I didn't really like holding babies. I was always like, oh, I'm gonna break it. You know, like I just don't want. Yeah, it was really. So then when we decided and we had, you know, Eli, everything changed. My heart, I feel like I grew a new heart, like the Grinch. Like it just like,
It's so true.
whoa, I'm addicted and I have to have a lot more.
A lot more.
Yeah, I'm not done.
So addicting.
And I feel like I became a completely different person. I didn't want to work.
Yeah, because you
all
light
know that.
up.
I didn't want to work. I just wanted to be with him, next to him all the time. And it, like, I don't know how mothers do it. I couldn't leave. Like, I couldn't leave, and it just like would tear my heart out, and I would almost feel sick. Maybe that's some sort of postpartum depression or something. It must
We
have
have to look
been.
into this.
Whatever it was, but it was really difficult, and that's why I had to make so many decisions that were detrimental to my career. But obviously, it paid off because I have this like most incredible, amazing relationship with my kids. You will never, ever, ever regret spending time with them. It's just the best thing. But I do feel like I'm a completely different person in the best way.
Yes.
In the best way. And I also think, I think it's made me a way better news anchor because you're so much more invested in your community when you're raising other humans in this community. You're like, oh, I guess I do care. Like, I care about this, what's going on. I care about this new park. I care about this school. So I think it's made me way better at my job. I don't show up as much, but I still think I'm a little bit better.
No, we love having you here. And, you know, I cried. I remember I was working in Las Vegas at a news station, and with my morning show friends, I was like, my life is over. My career is over. What am I doing? On my last day before maternity leave. And then obviously when I had Oliver, our oldest, same as what Emma is saying. I was just like, what was I thinking? This is the best thing ever. And I'm so thankful to be able to balance both, but also like, you don't get another chance to raise your kids, like Emma said.
And that's, you know, the diversity, because I'll be honest, I wanted to go back to work. And it's not, I mean, I also homeschooled my kids. Yeah, I homeschooled my kids. So
You homeschooled and you worked.
Up until third
Ginger
grade.
Jeffrey.
Just only till third grade, because I was also the superintendent and they both got expelled. So, I mean, no, I loved it. I absolutely loved every ounce of it, but just how I'm wired, I needed to get out of the house. I needed some time.
And a ton of women are that way.
And that's why I'm saying, like, just the diversity, and whatever you figure out that's best for you is going to be best for you and baby. But I needed that time to get out, you know, kind of like reset, not be mom. Let me have adult conversations. Let me not wear mom clothes, because nursing, we won't be seeing silk on this girl for a while. No. But you know, okay, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So, but that's not, I'm not a bad mom, in other words.
Right.
You know, these are just, allow yourself to breathe as a mom, and allow yourself to be the mom that works best for your family and your baby.
Because it's different for everyone.
Yep.
Totally.
It really is. And so when people give you advice, like what we're doing right now, you know, take it with a grain of salt and just know that this advice isn't coming from, you got to do what I did. It's just that we're the more relatable. And like, guess what? It was different for me, but hey, I want to talk to you about this because I'm feeling this way. For a long time, there was one instance with having my second where I do feel like I was dealing with postpartum depression, but I didn't know it. Where I was just like, it wasn't like I was sad, I was just void of emotion. Isn't that weird? Especially for someone like me, who I feel like I'm always like, you know.
Could you recognize it in the moment, or now when you look back on it, you think?
No, because I think you were so tired. They were only 17 months apart. And so I was, and so it was really quick, but I just like didn't feel anything. With my son, when I had him, I was like on a crazy high. And then the next one, it was like everything was gone. But it wasn't like I was sad. It was just like,
Different.
you know?
You're just having a function to get through. Didn't your husband have some good advice for Allison?
Oh, he was so cute. I told him we were going to do this MOMCAST thing, and he goes, all right, just tell her, go home, make your house as dirty as possible, and leave it that way until you have the baby, and then you'll know what it's like to have.
That's awesome.
That's amazing. Or on the opposite end, I'll be like, this is the last time my home will ever be clean. So let me enjoy, because it'll never be like that. Because I hear those first few, that is amazing. Thank you. I love that. And because it's practical, right? That's true. I hear those getting through the newborn stage is just such a big adjustment. So that would be my next question, like any advice for getting through it?
Is that the newborn stage is easy for morning show people. Because we have the worst hours already.
True, like, but there's no such thing as morning. It's every 90 minutes. So it's around the clock. And
but you already know how to function without sleep.
True.
And you're not having to wake up and put on an outfit and makeup.
Yeah, true. Okay, I remember both my kids, I dropped them in the first 90 days.
No,
yes, because I was so tired. And you're nursing. I know, but again, they're okay.
They're okay. They're fine. Actually, they're doing great.
One of them's
Okay. Well,
no. So those are kinds of the things that you don't want to beat yourself up on. I mean, we kind of laugh about it. You know, I talk to my kids, and I ask my kids, or actually my daughter. I asked my daughter, you know, what did I do well? Because again, with these different generations, I said, what did I do well as a mom? And I wanted to find out because she also has an instant family. She's marrying somebody with a 5-year-old. Yeah. So it's weird as a mom for her to become an instant mom. Yeah. And she constantly will text me some things. And so I said, Chloe, what did I do right and what did I do wrong?
Oh, I love that.
I just wanted to hear from her perspective.
Oh, and we're not done yet. More from the ladies on MOMCAST.
I said, Chloe, what did I do right and what did I do wrong?
Oh, I love that.
I just wanted to hear from her perspective. You know, here she's a neonatal intensive NP. She's, you know, graduate school, so she's got it together. She's only 23, but she's also parenting and she's about to get married. And she goes, well, I think the number one thing you taught me was how to be a bad beep woman. Grow my career and be independent. Possibly the worst thing you ever did is show me how to be too independent. I want to need you more.
Oh, wow.
That's really sweet.
Right? So those are just, I know.
Holy
but
cow.
we're super close.
Yes.
And I think those are the things, my recommendation, not that you're asking me, is give yourself grace.
Yes.
The number one thing a baby needs is love. And they need to understand they came from love. So focus on your relationship with your husband. I mean, me and my husband, we're having a blast right now.
Yeah.
But I feel like especially so many of my young mom friends that they have so many babies, the focus is all the kids, right?
Guilty.
How much time do you take for yourself?
Zero.
Or for you and your spouse, you know, and it's just like, I think that's really a key thing. And again, my daughter has talked to me about that as she's about to be married. And I'm like, okay, can we wait on, like, kids, you're freaking me out. Grad school, you moved to Philadelphia, like, pump the brakes.
I love that.
I'm not ready for it.
From love. That's
Yeah,
really
and
sweet.
so just focus on it. Be a young married couple. Be a young couple. Well, but you're showing them.
We're getting there.
You're showing them. And Chloe actually laughed with me. She goes, yeah, you were always gone on New Year's Eve and Halloween. And I'm like,
your two favorite holidays.
exactly.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, it's not like we didn't go trick-or-treating with you, but me and my husband love Halloween. We go out and we do adult things. And New Year's Eve, that's when we met, so we always went out on New Year's Eve.
love that.
And plus, what do they need to go out on New Year's Eve?
Right.
No, yeah, they could be.
That's when you get the sitter. So that, give yourself grace, give the baby love, and remember where that baby came from, and pay attention to that relationship.
Beautiful. I love that. Okay, I'm writing that down.
My best
for this
advice for
Momcast.
newborn stage, and I'm sure you heard this too, sleep when they sleep.
Yeah, if you can.
Yeah.
I'm never a napper
was
though.
so
So like, yeah, like what got you through? Was it the naps?
Because I was a napper.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
When it's just one, oh my gosh, we would be in bed all day
Agreed.
long.
When it's one, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
It's
A
so
million %.
fun.
So we gotta do this again if I have just a second. It'll be totally different.
When you got two, your mom needs to live with you, and then
Okay.
she'll take care of him, and then you'll have your little girl in there with you.
But don't they talk? I swear, my two talk. They would be like, okay, I'm going down at 11:05. You get up at 11:07. What are you two doing?
Like,
Without doubt.
What's going on?
They did
Yes.
that.
Yeah?
There is some advice, and you'll have to tuck this away because you won't use it till they're a little bit older, but this is what Ginger told me. So, yeah, connecting.
girl's shady.
Connection, connection with your daughter. You used to write your daughter notes.
Letters to Chloe. Letters to Chloe. I mean, she's a strong-willed child and, you know, maybe a little edgy. And so I think as a parent, I made so many mistakes, and I had to admit those mistakes. And I have to be allowed to make those mistakes, but I also have to always be the one to first approach the child. And so when I could see at 5 years old, she's a strong-willed child, and I started writing these letters to her, just little small moments in the day. And when we would get into her teenage years, I would just print one up and slip it under the door.
Oh my gosh,
so
I got chills. Oh my gosh.
because
Brilliant thing ever.
and it really broke things down, and that became our love language.
I love
We can write more to each other than we can probably say, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
But that's our love language.
But you know what I noticed about that too is that you have a different relationship and love language with your son.
Yes.
Which is, you know, what we talk about is like how you, well, boys and girls, but also just how you are with each individual one. Because I know that's something we've talked about a little bit too. And you have 4 as well. So like giving them, they all like different things, they all do different things, they all respond different ways to you.
Yes.
Boys want touch, right?
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh my gosh, all my kids want touch, and I love it so much. And I think just hug them as much as you can, because I always think, is this the last time that, you know, they're gonna not think I'm don't want to hug or whatever because they're getting older. But no, all my kids are snugglers and huggers, and I love it, and I just eat it up. And so I never say no to a hug.
But there's actually like research behind that. I was reading this, that like the cuddling and the hugging is a huge way to keep your kids close. Like connection, it establishes such great connection. So on Saturday mornings, like we're doing this for science.
Yeah,
Everyone's
bring it
cuddling.
in. Bring it
At
in.
night,
We're staying in bed.
I always, because I have to go to bed early for work, but I always tell them, you can come in my room and we can talk. And like I learn the drive home from school and the nighttime in bed. Learn all the things about your kids because I always want this open line of communication. Yes. One thing for yourself that is for you, and whatever that is, maybe it's a bath every night or reading a book for 10 minutes, whatever. Mine happens to be a crazy group fitness class with a bunch of incredible moms
And
in the
you've been
East
doing
Valley.
that forever.
It changed my life. I will be forever thankful. And yeah, just
It helped
and
a lot.
my kids know, like, mom's at the gym. She's working out unless there's an emergency, like nothing. So, and don't let anybody
Yeah.
Take that part of it.
Take that part from
Yeah.
you. Yeah, see, I can tell. That's, and what I love about this, you know, like MOMCAST and like you're talking about, it's just so diverse because if we don't talk about everyone's different experiences, like you're saying, it's different. It's different for you, then it'll be for me, then it'll be for you, then it is for you. Because I hate working out. So, like,
So that's why I'm saying,
it won't be a workout class
you know,
for me.
maybe
but
it's like a new recipe
Exactly.
or just sitting with your husband on the
Exactly.
couch for 10 minutes. But like whatever it is,
Yeah.
do it every day.
and I'm scared sometimes that I'm so out of touch, or that I'll just have to, with your MOMCAST, it helped of like bridging that gap a little bit.
And it will change even more as your son gets older. Newborn stage, though, it is hard.
Yeah.
It is a little mind numbing.
Yeah.
You know, because it's diapers. They're not talking to you yet, which when they start talking, you will die. It's but just know you're putting in the work and you're not getting any thank yous, but you're putting in the work for the next step.
Yeah.
And like you keep putting in the work for the next step and the next step because it's just all about building connection.
I'm excited for the newborn just because they're so cute and small and like little burritos, like but all the
scrunchy.
time. Yes,
Oh, the
and they're just.
scrunchy babies.
It's like I'm scared about the high school at times. I'm like already.
Yeah,
thinking,
what
like,
is your
oh,
biggest
dear.
concern right now?
I think it's. Gosh, there are so many. And that's something I wanted to talk to you a lot about too, is there's so much love like building up inside of you. Your life is changing, you're getting excited. I'm going through all the stages. And now I feel like there's a little bit of anxiousness of like, I want to protect him all the time now. I want to make sure he's never sick, he's always healthy, no one's ever mean to him, all these things. But that's just not reality. And that scares me a little bit. I think when you make it to this age, I mean, I'm, you know, older, there's so much.
Settle down.
No,
Constantly.
you were a lot, you were, I
was in
feel
my
like
20s when I have a kid.
exactly, and I'm, you know, I'm gonna be almost double. So I think you just almost don't know what you don't know. But this reaffirms what I love about working with, you know, so many amazing women. Is that you know, that's what it's all about.
Excited for you.
Okay, best MOMCAST ever. We'll see you guys next week. All of us together again. Sorry, guys, you're in it forever.